Hello, listeners, and welcome to Spooky Time with Mike and Mindy.
Hi, Spookers.
Hey.
In this episode, we're going to keep talking about Halloween Horror Nights 29.
Orlando Studios, Florida.
Yeah.
Yep.
We wanted to talk about the Scarezones.
We did. So these are the outdoor scare areas.
Yeah, like these aren't houses. You just kind of
walk
into them as you're going through, and
Yeah.
there's no real way around them. So
Some there are no way around. Others there might be.
Okay.
Depending on where you go.
Sure.
You're definitely going to go through at least 2. You would definitely go through at least 2 if you're going to go through the whole thing.
Yeah.
Right? Because if you're going to go this way, that's 1, 2. If you're going to go this way, that's 1, and then 2.
Oh, sure. If you completely avoid certain areas of the park, you don't have to go through them.
Yeah.
Is what you're saying. But
I have a map pulled up, so it's like, well, actually, if you look at the way that the thing is laid out.
Yeah. But scare zones kind of create in my opinion, create the feeling of the event. Like, this is where all the ambiance and everything comes from, how it gets you into that, unsettled, creepy feeling, throughout the night.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, if you're waiting in line for a house or something, nothing really happens there. You're just kind of in line, either watching a video that's projected or kind of listening to music or, whatever. But, when you're in the zones, it's fear, it's scary, it's horror.
Are you trying to say that they're a way for you to get in the zone?
Yes.
Okay. Well, one thing I will state here about the scare zones is that they are overlays of existing themed areas.
Right.
So these are outdoor themed areas, just in the park in general, that they overlay with effects and people and lights, music, and all that
and props.
And props. Yes, thank you. Stages and all of that to transform what would normally be a fun jaunt through Central Park to, for instance, a zombie, Viking, undead, ritualistic opening of human bodies zone.
Yeah.
So, definitely, I agree with what you had said, that it does help to set the tone or set the creep factor, right? To get you in that mindset, because so much of your experience at Halloween Horror Nights isn't in the houses, right? Because walking through a house is 2 to 3 minutes at most, usually.
Right.
Right? So the most of your time is spent either in line. Or if
you're like us, you'll just hang out in scare zones.
Or just outside of them.
Just outside scare zones.
Just enough to hear it, see people run and get scared. So, yeah.
So, let's start at the front of the park with the scare zone that should really tell us the theme of the event.
And in years past, typically has.
Yeah. So, the first scare zone is an arcade that we went through.
An arcade.
It was very pretty, but I would describe it as Tron characters with some knives and chainsaws that light up is pretty much the kind of feeling of it.
Yeah. So, with last year's Halloween Horror Nights, gotta be careful when I say this.
28?
Oh my god. Oh, yep. So, with 28, they outright just said, this is an 80s theme. Mm-hmm. And so 29 also, they said, was an 80s theme as well, or was trying to have more of an 80s vibe.
Sure. But more like the arcade 80s vibe. Not just 80s in general. Like the neons, the lights, that, and the techno type of music for the 80s.
Yeah. So, so yet again, we got a second year of, kind of the neo-retro synthwave horror vibe type music, which always I love, so it's super cool. Mm-hmm. But an arcade, you're right, visually tried to set the tone of the intense, the neons, the fluorescence. Mm-hmm. There was a lot of that kind of what you're talking about, Tron, the grid type designs,
Yeah.
whereas black with the, purples and blue.
They literally had
netting type
arcade games set up, and
They
like the
did.
lights
They
said
did.
game over. It was like this tunnel type of thing you went through without like a ceiling on the sides of like arcade
You're
games
walking
and stuff.
through an arcade essentially, and
Yeah.
there were the big wooden arcades set up on either side of you, and
Yeah.
they said game over.
Yeah. And we took notes and stuff in the airport when we were heading home to try and like make sure we remember everything. And I don't remember if I said it, you said it, or it was like a combination of our thoughts of trying to figure out
What's up?
where the characters were from. Because we're just like, did they play the games? Are they from the games? Are they mad about losing? It was like literally written down in our notes.
Yeah.
And I still don't know
Right. Yeah. I
what
think
these characters.
if I remember
were.
from what the announcement was, like it was supposed to be some kind of like punk anarchy like group of people that like hang out or have formulated their plans in an arcade.
I guess, but they looked like from an arcade game
Right.
rather than like a punk group type. You know what I mean?
Well, yes and no.
Yeah,
Yes
like
and no.
I see what they were going for, but then it was like more kind of purge mask with the light up.
Right.
And
So
I
like
don't know.
the dudes
Yeah.
definitely felt like it was some type of gang or anarchy group because they were, in the streets. They had like the masks on and
The
they had,
light up purge type of mask.
right, and they had like, their chainsaws or their bludgeoning equipment, bats
Yeah.
and stuff like that. But then the women were on like stilts, and I'm like, well, that's not really practical if you're trying to like have an anarchy. I mean,
Yeah.
like it was cool,
It definitely looked really cool. I just
but like it. Like,
don't get it.
Was it right? So like, was it a mixture of both? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Were they from the video games? Did they play the video games?
Yeah, I did appreciate that it wasn't another year with a bunch of IP characters in the front causing like a lot of issues with walking in and out of that zone because
the selfie zone.
Yeah, because when you want to get out or in, you want to get out or in, and so I appreciate
Right.
that flow of
You
traffic
don't
was
wanna-
still moving.
You don't want to be held up.
And like there's definitely some really awesome pictures and stuff that people have taken in this area. It was super pretty. I don't know, it's kind of a miss for me. And I see how it kind of created the theme for this event this year specifically.
Well, especially too with like that light show that they did. It was very like
Yeah.
in theme
And
with
like
that.
with Ghostbusters and Stranger Things and
right.
stuff, like I see how all of that kind of
like
melds
that
together.
retro nostalgia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it makes sense, but I also just didn't really care so much for it. But I think it was a good choice though too at the same time. I'm like in a really weird spot.
Well, it worked well.
Yeah.
It did what it needed to do. Why don't we just say it wasn't your favorite,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It wasn't your favorite, but like it did its job.
Yeah.
But the job that it was doing wasn't something you were interested in.
Right.
But it did its job.
Right.
There you go.
All right. So the next one, do you want to talk about Zombieland?
Oh, wait,
What?
do you remember which Scarezone won? Like the best Scarezone of the event?
Wasn't it Anarcade?
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
So Anarcade won, which I think we both disagree with.
Yeah.
But I think as far as setting the tone for like this year and kind of tying it all together, yeah,
Yeah.
it did its job. But
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
And I mean, the scare actors were great too because
of course,
even though we tried to
everyone
like
does a good job.
we tried to sneak around and stuff
That's
to
right.
just like cut through, and then
right.
one guy came after like the people in front of us
Yeah.
and stuff.
Right.
So,
The whole like I'm gonna go around the actual
the sidewalk.
side. Thank you. God, what's like word sidewalk?
It's a Saturday afternoon. We've both. Whew.
Yeah. So the sidewalk, and you're behind what would be the scare zone because they've got the arcade games set up. So you've been walking behind, you're thinking I'm fine.
Yeah, you're not.
You're not.
So I think they did a good job of catching the people that were trying to sneak around and stuff. So I thought that was fun. I mean, I think all of the scare actors always do a great job. So
Totally.
Next up, let's talk about Zombieland 2 Double Tap.
Yeah. So we didn't see the movie.
No,
Sorry.
but we did see Zombieland, and I'm familiar with the concept of zombies, so I
Yeah.
feel like I still should have been able to enjoy this zone if I liked zombies.
Yep. Correct.
I did notice that they had a lot of the actual characters
Yes.
roaming around, so I did think that was cool. And they did mention Twinkies, but our tour guide for the Unmasking the Horror tour told us that they couldn't actually have like a Twinkie truck with Twinkies and stuff. So that's why it was named something else in the Scare Zone with like cupcakes and stuff instead of Twinkies, which I thought was really funny. They also had the Kill of the Week show, which we caught once.
Yeah, so like they were just recapping like who had like the kill of the week for killing a zombie. And, yeah, they did one like live on stage. You know, that was kind of cool.
With the Woody Harrelson character, he like beat up like 2 zombies, and then because it was sort of carnival themed, he like used one of those strongman hammer games and like killed the zombie that way, which was pretty cool.
And hit the bell.
Yeah, it was funny. They also had like a prize sort of building where they were hanging out in there too, and like the zombies and stuff were trying to get in. And
so I'm assuming that Zombieland 2 Double Tap had a portion of it
in
where there was a theme
park or amusement park, carnival.
Sorry.
Yeah.
This is where we were bad and we didn't do our homework. So
yeah, we usually watch everything, but I don't necessarily like having to do that like when the movie comes out right before our trip, because this movie didn't come out till the mid-October.
Right.
So
right. One of the things I liked that I know we wrote down. So in the movie, you know, the first one I remember, like they had like the rules, so like beware bathrooms. Double tap is like, I think that's rule 1 or something. It's one of the
rules.
It's like one of the important rules. Like make sure it's dead, pretty much, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, they had like in the movie, the words are kind of written over the scene, and then like the actors will walk by, but the words are behind them, right? So like it's there, so only we can see it, but it's realistic in the sense of the environment that it's placed in, which I like that they had that. So they have the rules written over the scenery. Like there
like
were
on
some
the
fake porta
bathrooms.
potties. Yeah, and like they like beware of bathrooms.
And I saw this really cool scare at one point. We were just walking by, and one guy was messing around playing with like the doors, and he was just like, "Oh, I'm gonna see what's in here. I'm gonna see what's in there." And then he actually got to the one that had a zombie like character waiting for someone to do that, and he chased him out. It was really funny. And they had there were rules written on like cars and some other stuff too. It was themed as well as it could be for such a large open space.
Right. This is the most difficult. Well, I say second most difficult. No, this is the most. This is the most difficult.
Because it's just so big and so busy.
Right. It's like Streets of New York or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is where in years past the purge would be, and then also to, what was that? 26. As like the wasteland something.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was cool. But yeah, it's a really difficult area to try and fill because you can't kind of ignore the fact that it's literally like a metropolitan looking area.
Yeah.
You know, it's very clearly a city, so any scare or, you know, like theme you're trying to pick for it has to be something that can fit where a city would be. Because you can't ignore the fact that it's a giant like city block.
Yeah.
So, but I think they did a good job with it. I think you know, maybe if we had seen the second one, we would have been a bit more like reminiscent or reminded of the franchise and would have probably picked up on
more
a lot
of the
more
things.
of the specific things.
They did have Bill Murray walking around too.
They did.
A fake Bill Murray.
They had the real Bill.
Yeah, real Bill Murray was walking around.
Just kidding. Yeah, there was a fake Bill Murray.
Yeah. So there was like a lot of really cool Easter eggs for people that are into these movies for sure.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's people that posted like walkthroughs and way more detail about it. So I would recommend going to go check that out since if
you weren't able to make it.
Yeah, because we definitely didn't spend that much time over here. Also because of my social and crowd anxiety.
Right. So that was also the thing that was a little bit difficult for Anarcade and Zombieland, right? Is these are the scare zones that are packed, and as I'm looking at the map here, 4, not 5.
No, I included. Okay, so we fought in the last episode.
We did fight.
I said that going in gets you into like 5
Correct, because
houses.
I said there was one over there, but you made it sound like there was 2 over here.
No, you did.
The fight continues.
Whatever. It doesn't matter.
We're moving on. So, but yeah, I mean, they're pretty
There's
much
3 houses pretty much right around this scare zone, depending on how long they make this
Anarcade
zone.
and Zombieland are the buns on the sandwich of 4 houses, which are normally the highest impact.
Yes.
How about that?
Yes.
Okay. So, it's difficult to kind of be in that area as the night goes on because that's where the most people are, because that's where the lines are the longest, the most anticipated popular houses are. And so even though it's a large space, it does tend to fill up.
Yeah.
It really does.
Yeah.
So one thing you wrote is that the tribute store is located within this scare zone.
Yes.
Are we going to talk about the tribute store?
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Let's do it. So in years prior, the tribute store, I would say, was like just 2 rooms, it felt like. So like just 2 rooms, and it just kind of had all the stuff. Well, this year, they made some changes, and boy, did it get more people in it. It felt really packed. So they, instead of having 2 rooms, they made it into 3, and they themed each room with a photo op in each room, which, again, since they didn't have the selfie zone in front, this is one of those ways, including scare actor dining and all this other stuff, where they're trying to find, ways to not have you be right in the blocking the path of movement, where you can still get the pictures that you want.
Right.
So I remember they had a Stranger Things one where there was a Demodog. Do you remember?
Yeah, so they also had this really cool Universal Monsters area
And
where
that was
they
in back, right?
Yeah, this was in the 3rd room where they had like Creature from the Black Lagoon trapped in this like really cool water tank, and a lot of laboratory stuff was like everywhere. I think that was like my favorite area. They also had some Ghostbusters themed stuff, but it was honestly so busy that we couldn't really enjoy looking around the store too much.
Right.
When we went back to actually look around and enjoy it more. So, I mean, I don't know what happened, but like it just got so crazy busy in that store.
It did.
Yeah.
Which is not normal, because my prior years remembering of this store is that even on nights when it was busy outside, no one ever really went into the tribute store.
Yeah, but it could be because it was the final night as well, so maybe people were trying to pick up some last merch and stuff. I don't know.
That could be, but yeah, I can't. But I always thought at least I knew in years past, the tribute store felt like a spot where you can go where it was a little bit quieter. To get away.
Yeah, which is why I usually snuck in there.
It was very much not a place to get away.
It was not. It was really bad for me.
The theme of HHN 29 was there is no escape. There's no quiet spaces. There's nowhere to go to calm down a bit, because Harry Potter was overrun. The tribute store was overrun. Every normal place that we had become accustomed to kind of take a break just didn't exist.
I did find a new place, and we're going to talk about it eventually in this episode.
But the tribute store, so I thought that was kind of cool. Obviously not in theme with Zombieland 2, but the tribute store is always the tribute store. It's
I
always
loved
going to be there.
the facade for the tribute store this year. Was like this antique old kind of black cat sort of thing.
Yes.
That was like you'd always see in Halloween decor. So I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
I liked the tribute store this year, but yeah, busy. Anyways, next zone.
Oh, next zone. That'd be a Rob Zombie with Hellbilly Deluxe.
Heck yes, it was.
Yeah. So, I think we can just go out and say that this was probably our...
No, it was not my favorite. Yeah. I'm going to surprise you at the end and tell you my list.
Whoa.
But I really did love this zone.
All right. Well,
I know it was your favorite.
I will state that this was indeed my favorite.
Yeah.
So there's lots of reasons for this.
Yes.
So.
It was a great zone.
It was. So, some of this is going to be information where we walk through it organically, and some of it's going to be the information we got from our tour.
Yeah, Unmasking the Horror. Mm-hmm.
So, couple of the things is that the full album did play, because we were there long enough
pretty much a full album.
Listen. We were like, I wonder if they play every song or just certain songs.
And they even play the interlude type of stuff and
right, the tracks. So not just where the music starts, but the right.
Yeah.
The beginning of it, which, we didn't know the full title, which is like Rob Zombie Hellbilly Deluxe and the 13 Cadaverous Tales of something, right? So, each track is supposed to be like themed for a different, scary horror thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so they kind of, with some of them, brought those songs to life.
Yes.
Which were these songs that were music videos from this album.
Mm-hmm.
The ones that were music videos, they had these scare actors put on the shows or performances that were reminiscent of what you saw in the music videos.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, so for Living Dead Girl, they actually had this entire stage, and they had Rob Zombie, and they had, I'm sure it was Sherry Moon Zombie that played the Living Dead Girl, because she always was in every movie and video. But they had the dead girl also up on stage come out of a coffin, and like they had this whole show for the song, which is awesome. It was so cool.
It was great. I mean, like, it had like the scare actor reminiscent of Rob Zombie, right? And like the full on like black big hat, right, with the black sunglasses on.
Yeah.
And he was going around the stage with his hand movements, just explaining the song as Rob Zombie's singing it, to bring forth the living dead girl from the coffin, and then the living dead girl was all dressed in white, and she just had those piercing...
She had those dead eyes.
The piercing gaze, which I got the gaze a couple times, and I was like, whoa, that's really cool.
Yeah,
so,
they were both amazing.
Yeah, and I think just overall why I will just come out and say this was my favorite is because, to me, it felt like the scare actors in this zone loved it the most.
Yeah.
Like, they really picked the right people to fill this zone that were all about it.
Yeah, for sure.
That, like, I felt that. And so it made me, like, love it that much more.
Yeah.
What was another one that they showed?
They had Spook Show Baby.
They did, which was, like, kind of an electric chair scene.
Yeah.
So some kind of like a dominatrix-y feel you got, and then like the torturing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was interesting to watch, and also it's more interesting to people watch, because then you're like, wow, that guy's a creep, or
oh my God,
like
I know. Oh my God, all the old men with the cameras. It's like, just stop. Because of course they're, the female scare actors are wearing like the really short black shorts.
They
and,
were
like,
super hot,
dressed up like cops and stuff.
Yeah.
And, with like the obviously fake super long blonde hair. And then they had like the women that were stationed significantly high up. They were just
on
like
high platforms
that
were just dancing around.
Right. Yeah.
Which is smart. Try to put as many women up high as possible so no weirdos can touch them.
Right. Get them up there.
Get them out of
Get them up.
Get them out of there.
Get them out of the rabble. But no, like it was. Spook Show Baby was pretty cool. That was a good one.
Yeah. So you kind of walked. We didn't say when you got into the scare zone to enter it. There's like these large metal riggings with like fire bursts at the top, and it's like Rob Zombie, and it's kind of like you're entering like this festival, like a rock concert festival sort of feel, with like outdoor stages and platforms and stuff, and like it just really had that vibe the entire time, which was really cool. And one fun fact is that the pentagrams had to be flipped over into stars because day guests were complaining to Universal as they were walking to Harry Potter, ironic, about seeing satanic pentagrams and things like that trying to go to the Wizarding World.
Yeah.
So
I'll say, just for me personally, which was super hilarious, like he was saying that, he's like, does anyone notice anything about that in particular? And I was like, no, what? He's like, well, we had to turn it to be a star. And I'm like, it's already a star. Wait, wait, what are you talking about? Like, I just did not even get that.
Didn't even think about it.
It was a very obvious thing because it was, an upside down star.
Yeah.
Versus just putting it up.
Yeah.
And I was like, did people really care?
Well, whatever.
Yeah, it's fine. People, it's all right. It's like a thing.
Yeah.
So good to know.
Yeah.
So, one of the other music videos, and probably I'd say most recognizable song from the album, Dragula, had the car, and the car from the music video was there.
Yep.
And we got pictures in it, did we not?
We did. I did not pay $16 a picture to download them, but I considered it. But it is expensive to download one picture.
Oh.
But I can always steal it and have the watermark across it.
Watermark picture!
But it was really cool to have, like, they had, like, that metal guy, too, next to the car.
Yeah, the robot metal.
Yeah, and then they had that weird skeleton guy with red eyes, too. They had, like, a lot of characters and a lot of, like,
they did.
stuff from Rob Zombie's world walking around, which was super cool. And they also had a Rob Zombie, like, throne chair that we also took our pictures in as well. You remember that?
Help refresh my memory. It's all a blur.
Yeah, that was after Finnegan's. It was on the third
then it's
night.
very much a blur.
Yeah.
Wait, we went there?
Yes. And then we sat on the benches. And
yes!
then you went to try to find a drink. And
I went to find a cider, and, like, everywhere I went, they're like, we're out. I was like, all right, guys, are you serious?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So,
That's
but
fine.
yeah, we sat on that, like, stone chair that said Rob Zombie on it.
Yes, I remember that now.
Okay, now you remember.
It was, like, right at the opening, right at the beginning. Okay,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was a really cool area and definitely felt like a concert. It wasn't really scary, at least to us.
Well, I think the general themes and tones, some could say, would be scary.
Oh, sure, I guess.
Not everyone's all into death and dismemberment and,
I guess not everyone is.
Satanic imagery. Well, I mean, and obviously, too, it feels like every Horror Nights has to have, like, the zone that's, like, got a bit more of the, we'll say, sexual vibes.
Sure.
So that was
that one.
That was this one.
Yep.
But I was going to say one more thing, which was on our first night, like, I instantly fell in love with the house when they were playing Super Beast, and I caught
The Zone?
eyes. Yeah, the Zone.
Okay.
Yeah, like, I caught eyes with the one of the scare actors, and then, like, I did, like, the devil horns hand symbol, and he just, like, did it back to me, and he was, like, rocking out.
Yeah.
I'm like, yes, this is so cool. Like, that's what I do. Like, everyone just loved it.
Yeah.
They were just enjoying it, time of their life.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, all the scare actors really loved it. And, like, if you just sat off to the side, like, they would just smile and be like, this is great. Like, people are really enjoying this, too, with us.
Right, which is why I thought it was so weird, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Maybe something happened with Anarchy that I didn't see, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
As far as ranking it. All right. I think that's about all there is to say about that one.
Mm-hmm.
So, why don't you take us into your favorite?
It's not, well...
I'm just kidding.
Vikings Undead was actually a lot better than I expected.
Whoa.
Yeah. And I think that having the Unmasking the Horror Tour really helped me appreciate this zone a lot more. Because they kind of talked about how they had actual lanterns brought in from, like, Norway or wherever, to actually have up in the trees. And a lot of research went into everything that went into this zone.
Okay.
A lot of actual, like, research and detail and hard work was really put into the colors, the costumes, the sets, like, the lanterns. Everything that they did in there was for a reason that I just really thought, like, it was awesome. Like, so much hard work, and it looked amazing. Because it's in, like, the Central Park Forest area, which is always really crowded. But it wasn't that bad this year. People were moving a little bit better, I feel like. Even though there were some shows and stuff along the way. Like, they had the shaman show, which we kind of caught briefly one of the nights when we were walking by.
Yes.
And then they had that really scary lady ripping out the spine of that guy, like, and eating him and stuff. It's just like...
Well, because they weren't just Vikings, right? This is Vikings Undead, right?
Yeah.
So they're, like, cannibalistic zombie.
Yeah. Yeah, and there were, like, the ship was all broken up, and, like... They had taken over this area, and I don't know, it's just, I thought it was done really well, and I really liked a lot of the costumes, and everything was just really pretty in a really kind of gross, gory way.
You know what it was reminiscent of? Obviously, right?
Yeah.
Because it's, the type of region and zone, and they're both scary, but a little bit of Midsummer.
Right, except dark instead of sunny.
Exactly. Right. So you got a little bit of Midsummer in the sense of, even as far as the rituals, of Scandinavia, of opening people up from their back to expose the spine and stuff. That was, spoiler alert, I guess maybe mildly, but Midsummer aspects of elements as well. And so that type of thing. And you're right, they did a lot of research to have it be like accurate too, with the lanterns and the way that like the wood stages were built, or like how they would have tied them together, or all that other stuff. There was a lot of thought that went into it. You're right. I see something written in quotes.
Oh, Evil Groot.
Evil Groot. Yes.
There were these really cool tree
demons, shall we call
yeah.
them? Right.
I don't know.
Ents?
But they looked awesome. And everybody, pretty much, as they walked by, were like, "Oh, Evil Groot," and like it wasn't as scary then.
Everyone said Evil Groot.
I said it, then another kid said
Everyone kept saying Evil Groot, and I'm sure that's correct.
Like, yeah, I think our tour guide even said it on the Unmasking the Horror
Evil
tour
Groot.
as well.
I know. You just can't not.
You can't not.
You can't not see it and think it's Evil Groot.
Yeah.
Which, of course, another aspect or way to have characters on stilts. Yeah. HHN loves it.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
It's nice to have things up high because, like, sometimes people are tall, so, like, they don't get some of those up high scares either.
That's true. And there was some, like some of those, like, basketball player folks, they're just, like, up there in the 7s and 8s, and, part of, or some aspect of scares is the bigger than or taller than the intimidation piece. So you're right. Someone on stilts would also incorporate or include those tall people into being scared.
Exactly.
I like that. That's a fun way to think about it.
Yeah.
So even you can get scared, Mr. Tall Person, that can reach everything from up high.
Exactly. Let's see. I don't really have that.
You said skulls and trees. You wrote it down, but you didn't say that.
Sorry, yeah. There were skulls in the trees along with the lanterns and stuff. So, like, they helped provide more light. And a lot of the lights in the area were, like, green and orange type of lights, which I think, like, really helped enhance those, like, reds and, like, to pop out in the actual, like, props. So.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing I think I mentioned in our Scarezone anticipation podcast that I was a little worried about was, like, with the water show being right next to it, I was like, is it going to be super distracting? And honestly, no. They did a great job. So clearly they had the speakers for the show not facing any way, towards the scare zone, which is quite literally behind it. I mean, it's like right there.
Yeah.
The seating for the water show is just on the other side of the trees of where the scare zone is, just for a frame of reference. So,
yeah. Well, and the entrance into that water show is actually, like, just outside of the scare zone itself.
Right, just off to the left is where you go to the water show. Straight ahead is how you get to the scare zone.
So there really wasn't any, like, huge issue in intermingling and stuff with those crowds going one way or the other. So that was kind of nice. That was probably one of the most open areas, actually, right outside that scare zone, kind of by Mel's Dying and stuff.
Yeah.
We did not go see the water show. I don't know if I feel like we said that.
Yeah, we didn't get around to it.
We probably could have had the opportunity, but my crowd anxiety was too high.
Yeah.
So on the note of that being one of the best areas to sit, we ate at Mel's Dying twice, which looked into Vanity Ball. Mel's Dying, mobile order if you can.
Yeah, it's a busy place.
Yeah.
Mindy and I both did some tours there at a local custard shop. Oscars for those that live in Wisconsin.
Oh, I was like, I don't know what you're saying. Because we used to have a Mel's here.
Well, that.
Yeah.
But we, like, worked at Oscars, a custard shop. And so when you went to go find the seating, so I went to go in and order and stay in line, and it was so reminiscent of, like, some of those really, really busy nights where, like...
After a dance or a football game.
People everywhere, and, like, they're going to get the free water cups, you know, and it's just, like, kind of chaos, and kids running all around, because, I don't know, kids just love Mel's. They just...
I
like
love
a magnet.
Mel's.
They just gravitate right towards it. No, it's fine. But that type of age range, right?
Sure.
Like, we'll say, like, the preteen, early teen, I guess teen, whatever. Either way. So yeah, that's where most of them were, which is fine. But
Yeah.
it was just kind of reminiscent for me a little bit.
Sure.
But yeah, no, the food was great. They have vegan food there, and it was good. And
Yeah, there's 2 vegan options. I think there's the burger and then a chicken sandwich.
Yeah.
Both times we both got the Gardein chicken sandwich with guacamole, lettuce. Was there guac on it?
yeah,
There was
yes,
pickle
yeah,
and maybe tomato
Yeah.
or something.
something like that.
And then a side of fries.
It's not fried.
I thought they were good options, but they weren't like as hot, as warm as I would have wanted them to be. But
Yeah.
for being like quick service and stuff, and it
Right.
being so busy, like
Right.
what?
You're happy to
what
have
can
it.
you do? Yeah,
You have to have it.
yeah. And whatever. It's not real meat, so I'm not gonna die.
That's right.
But yeah, we ate there twice, and I liked it. I'm already looking forward to eating at Mel's again when we go, because I
Well-
really liked having pickles on chicken. Apparently, I've never experienced that before.
Wow, it's like a whole new world.
It's a whole new world for me.
And then really quick for those that don't know, we keep saying Mel's Dine, Mel's Dine, Mel's Dine. If you don't know, this is a food option in the park normally called Mel's Drive-In, and they drop the R and the V during
Yeah, and it says
Horror Night, so it
dine-in.
says Die-In.
Yeah,
so
and it's adorable.
it is super cute.
So we actually ate outside of there and spent quite a bit of time hanging out looking into Vanity Ball, because we had some outside seating. And as I mentioned, this area wasn't super busy. So I think this is like the only spot I could kind of chill. But at that point, it had been so long in the nights because we had done most of the houses.
Right.
We were like 7 houses
Right,
through
so we're
when you
ready
get
for
over
like
there.
our
And
second dinner, right? Or
Yeah.
like our snack after.
yeah, and so like I was just burnt out every time I got over here. But I
Yeah.
think it's good that I know that this is a spot that exists that I might be able to go to next year that won't be overwhelming.
for
so
now.
maybe
Right,
yeah, for now.
For now.
But inside is insane, but outside was fine.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah. So we were looking into Vanity Ball, and also I want to point out that there was this ridiculously high-pitched scream that was coming from like Vikings Undead maybe,
Or was it
or
Vanity Ball?
Ball.
Or was it the water show?
Yeah, that
No
just-
one knows.
It just kept happening
well-
while we were eating, and I was like, "What?"
It wasn't just the high pitchedness of the scream. That
Yeah.
wasn't it. It like went on for a full minute.
It was long.
It was a very long scream, and you're
Yeah.
like, "Oh, where?"
Maybe it came from the die-in. I don't know.
Dude, I don't know. Yeah, it just kept going.
If anybody knows, let us know where it came from.
Right? Where was it? Super weird.
But yeah, so Vanity Ball was set up really cool. It had a really cool backstory, which our Unmasking the Horror tour guide told us.
Yes.
So there were 2 designers competing, like on both sides. So there was this big long stage in the middle, with
runway.
like a big long runway, and like in the
Yes.
middle of that was like this platform where an announcer could talk on the top. And then one half was like dedicated to one designer, and the other half was dedicated to the other designer. One designer believed that beauty was like skin deep, and the other one believed beauty was like from within. So the skin deep one used more skin and stuff to do their designs and things, whereas the other one used like body parts and pieces as their designs, which I thought was really awesome in, I guess, a very disturbing way.
Yeah,
but,
awesome in a weird, disturbing way.
but
Yeah.
I totally love that idea. And like all of the models and stuff walking around would interact and say who their designer was, and like
ask them who you're wearing. And
yeah,
they totally just went with that kind of fashion show runway, you know, like the red carpet
and the music was
vibe.
awesome, and like
Yes.
just like a runway, like you feel like walking on a runway when you're in there.
Yeah.
Oh, it was so cool.
Well, and another thing too is, I think we talked about this, obviously not on this podcast yet, but before, like going through the Unmasking the Horror tour, it is so interesting, like the press release information that they give you versus like the insider information that you get, and you really get the sense that concepts for these scare zones and houses are like created, and then like the information has to get passed to so many different teams that kind of like leave certain parts out or bring certain parts in and talk about this, talk about that. Like the whole like Vanity Ball, like I don't know if we didn't read it again, but like, did they clearly state like the two
No,
people,
they didn't.
right? Like what their names were and like what their specific schools of thought were.
Yeah.
Another thing too is the obviously like the property that was the inspiration, was Hunger Games, and talking about the Capitol and how there was a lot of body modifications. Like the one character is like a cat, right? Like all these, or dyeing your skin's different colors, or what's all the rage and following these fashions in like completely ridiculous terms or to levels, extremes. And so that obviously was like kind of the unofficial inspiration for this idea.
Yeah.
That just like obviously went wild with it. And it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, they even had 2 stages set up, one on each side for each designer, and you could see some of the surgical procedures taking place.
Right.
Which was awesome. It was just so cool.
Yeah.
Having that much detail, even though like the zone itself didn't have like a lot of stuff filling it. It was like the people walking around it really created that atmosphere.
Right.
Yeah. I loved that. So.
Yeah, I agree.
Do you want to say what your least favorite was to your favorite?
Well, you probably already have your list, right?
Pretty much.
Well, then you go ahead, and I'll just take a look real quick.
Okay. Number 5, I'm going to say is Zombieland Double Tap.
Whoa!
Because I don't care for zombies. Number 4 will be Anarcade, because I don't think it was scary at all.
Yeah.
Number 3, I'm going to give to Rob Zombie's Hellbilly Deluxe.
Whoa! What? Okay. We'll fight off air.
Number 2, I'm going to give to Vikings Undead. And then number 1 is Vanity Ball. For sure. Vanity Ball was literally the best ever. Fight me.
No, I will say that Vanity Ball was absolutely a completely unique concept for a scare zone. Like, totally something that you would not dream up.
Yeah.
But to see it is awesome, because it takes advantage of a concept that is, like, never thought about in terms of horror or scary, which is fashion and runways and, kind of that whole culture.
Yeah.
It's never tied to scary.
Yeah, when I think about fashion and stuff and entertainment, I think about Zoolander. I don't think about anything scary.
America's Next Top Model, right? I mean, like, these are fine things. These are normal things. They're funny. They're enlightening. They're lighthearted, right? And so to just flip the script on that and just be like, yeah, well, what if we just start peeling skin off you?
Yeah.
And like, oh, God.
Yeah.
Like, oh.
I loved it.
Yeah.
So my top 2 were the bloodiest, goriest ones.
Go figure.
I'm so shocked.
Go figure. Yeah, I'm starting to learn a lot about you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is everyone else listening.
Yeah, we're all learning together, friends.
Yeah.
It's really what we're doing is...
Tell me your list.
Together. Well, so, like, I think I would... Here's the challenge, right? Like, the ones that I want to rank and the ones that I think I should rank. Or, like, how to rank them, right?
Okay.
Because Zombieland 2... I remember the first movie, and I liked it. Obviously, zombies are just, I guess, an inherently scary concept, right?
Sure.
But, I don't know, like, here's something I might get hater mail for, right, or whatever, but what Zombieland is to zombies is kind of like what Twilight is to vampires. It doesn't really make them scary. No,
that would be the movie Warm Bodies.
Oh, Warm Bodies. Mindy got her NPR voice.
The movie Warm Bodies.
I just meant in the sense that,
I believe Amber Heard or the other blonde girl from Sorcerer's Apprentice or something is in Warm Bodies.
I don't think it was Amber Heard.
I don't think so either. I think it was the Sorcerer's Apprentice girl.
I think yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that one is a zombie love movie because literally, spoiler alert, it takes love to heal the zombies and bring them back into people form.
Oh, I really like that concept. You wouldn't think about it that way.
I think that one is more Twilight.
You're correct.
Okay.
I was merely thinking of it from the perspective of not with the love aspect, but just kind of like, here's something that would...
Here's something shiny.
Something normally that's scary.
Sure.
Right? But it's in this movie, and it's not actually scary.
Sure.
Right? So, like, with Zombieland, it's a lot more comedy right? Like,
Yeah.
oh, here's the scary concept of zombies, but it's not really a horror movie at
And
all.
Bill Murray's in it.
Exactly. It's meant to be more of like a comedy pop culture
Yeah.
type of event,
Sure.
right? So that one I think I have to put last.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
not
just
because
for
I didn't,
us,
not that
yeah.
I didn't like it. I thought they did a good job, just for me personally.
Yeah.
All right, there you go. So I would think then next. I'm gonna put Vanity Ball next.
Yikes!
Actually,
Fighting. I'm going to stab
you. Oh God. So why I'm putting Vanity Ball here rather than ranking it higher is because I don't feel like I got enough time to enjoy this because while you were sitting outside, I was waiting in line.
That's true.
And then also, too, by the time we got to this one, every night we went, it was the absolute end of the night. You were overwhelmed and we just needed to leave. So, like, it was like rushing through this scare zone that I'm sure was super awesome, but I just really didn't get the chance to go through it.
Right.
So, because of that, I have to be fair.
Yeah.
Right? Like, if I had more time in it, it would probably be like 2 or 3.
Yeah.
But I didn't get enough time with it.
Sure.
So, I have to put it 4.
I understand.
So, don't be mad at me.
I don't understand why it's not at least above Anarcade, but okay.
Well, I'm going to put Anarcade next.
Okay.
Anarcade is number 3 for me. Because I do like the way that it just set the tone. Even though it didn't make a lot of sense, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I don't think it needed to make sense, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
I think what it did was it just visually and auditorially set the tone.
Sure.
This is it. We're 1980s. Things are fluorescents, and they are bright colored, and they are black lights, and you're going to get the synth music. And just very quickly, within 30 seconds of looking at this, you're going to be in the right frame of mind.
Sure.
Put on your nostalgia pants, get back in time. Here you are.
Yeah.
So I think that as a concept just really hit the mark.
Gotcha.
Even though as a scare zone, I don't think it necessarily made a lot of sense with the scare actors and like what they were, why they were, how they were.
Sure.
But yeah.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Okay.
Okay, cool. So Vikings Undead will be my number 2.
Okay.
Because I
The wonderful things it does.
Rip out a spine. Because of how I wasn't expecting it to be good, right? Mm-hmm. Like, I expected it to be bad. Mm-hmm. So then when it wasn't...
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we both had really low expectations for the zone, so it helped it.
I had low expectations, and, like, honestly, I love Evil Groot.
Yeah.
I know that's not the intent, but I just love it. I love that, like, it's Evil Groot, and I'm sure that character was just so, like, sighing mad about it.
Probably.
You know, it's awesome.
Or he loved it. Or she loved it.
They
loved it.
Can't assign a gender to a Groot.
Okay.
I'm kidding.
I don't know if Groots have genders to begin with because of how, like...
Exactly, how they reproduce.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
Anyways.
Anyway, so, I did like the Midsummer vibes. Obviously, like, the whole Scandinavian feel. I think they really made it feel like... Here's the thing. I feel like Banshee was, like, kind of the...
Like a stepping stone to
this. To get to this, right?
Sure.
Like, Banshee was, like, the spirit of it. The spirit of Banshee.
It's a spirit.
The spirit of Banshee.
Banshee is a spirit.
Led to this.
Yeah.
I think where Banshee missed the mark in 26, this one hit it.
Gotcha.
Dead on.
Yeah.
In 29. So it was pretty good.
Yeah.
I liked it. Mm-hmm. I liked the detail of it. I liked that it was very nuanced with all the, and therein lies the challenge, right? With Vanity Ball, like, I didn't have enough with it. Vikings, I got a lot of it, so I could appreciate it and like it that much more.
Right.
So, all right. So then the last one, which I already stated, is Hellbilly. Rob Zombie, Hellbilly Deluxe.
Yes.
And again, it's, like, the music's good. The scare actors were just absolutely loving every minute of it.
Yeah.
And you could tell, a little sad, right? You could tell they didn't want it to end.
Yeah.
They didn't want it to be done. Imagine that's your job.
I really wish that I didn't have horrible crowd anxiety and stuff and could have literally just spent, like, the last hour of the event on the last night.
Yeah.
Hanging out in that zone. Yeah. Enjoying
just to close it out.
Yeah.
But it is kind of back there, right?
Yeah.
Like, So Vanity Ball is towards the front, and that's an easy out. But like Hellbilly is like you're at the other end of the park pretty much. So yeah, but I thought it was great.
Yeah,
I thought it was great. It totally hit the mark. I thought it was awesome. Now, what about the unofficial Scare Zone though? Of the Simpsons area?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
The chainsaws.
Chainsaw Clowns.
I don't know. Chainsaws are old. I want something new.
Whoa.
Well, there were chainsaws in the front and then chainsaws in the back, and
They've done that before though.
Yeah.
26.
Sure, but there's just a bunch of screaming girls like every now and then that run through, and that's about it.
Hilarious.
I guess
they run so fast.
I don't know. I'm just ready for something new. Surprise me.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That's all.
All right.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Okay.
All right. So
overall, I think it was a really good Scare Zone year.
Yes.
I think that everything was really pretty. I think all the scare actors were awesome. And don't be a weird, creepy dude. So that's all I gotta say.
PSA, like, fight the urge. Just don't do it.
Yeah, and don't be a jerk teenager who thinks it's hilarious to yell at scare actors.
Yeah, don't do that either. Just
try and scare them or something.
Right.
Like,
be respectful in general.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they're people.
Yeah.
You know, so they're trying to have fun. It's all about trying to have fun. It's not about trying to, like, scare you to belittle you or you know anything like that,
if
or
it's
like
gonna
make
bother
fun
you,
of
don't
you. Right.
go.
If you get upset about that, then don't go.
Yeah.
It's about
make up a reason. Say your parents couldn't let you out. I don't care if you're like 12 or 50. Be like, sorry man, mom says I have to stay home, if you're that kind of person. Just saying.
Yeah.
Like, don't be a jerk.
I agree. Pretty much like just respect in general. Mm-hmm. Respect people's personal space. Respect.
Yeah.
Everybody.
So, but overall, I'm happy with this year. I really loved Vanity Ball. I did really enjoy Rob Zombie, even though it's third on my list. It's like 1 through 3. They're all very, very close together. So.
Right. Yeah. I wish I got a bit more. You know, Vanity Ball, but that's
I always
all right.
wish we had more time, which is why I added a 4th night for next year.
What? Crazy! Oh, I will say this too, that like obviously music has something to do with it, because was it last year in the Vanity Ball area was Festival of the Deadliest, right? Or was that 2 years prior?
No, that was last year.
That was last year.
No, that was the year before.
Exactly.
Because last year was Chucky.
Right, it was 27. Because, you know, in 27 and there they had like all the 80s metal music, you know, that was more melodic without lyrics, and I was like, I knew all of it, and I was like, this is awesome. And then like Hellbilly Deluxe. So apparently the winning key for a Scare Zone for me is just play some metal music.
Yeah,
you know?
pretty
just
much.
Blast some metal, and I'm just like, all right, I'm in.
You're there for it.
I'm there. So who knows? Maybe it'll be another 2 years before we get another metal Scare Zone.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what the 30th brings.
We will. We really will see that. So, you know, I think that's about it as far as Scare Zones. I don't feel like I've left anything unsaid.
Yeah, me
At
neither.
least for 29.
Stay spooky, spookers.
Stay spooky.